So I just realized that
intro.
our logo kind of looks like a penis in a wine glass.
Okay, now I gotta stare at that. Thank you. Like a penis in a wine glass?
Yeah, it looks or like maybe a dildo. Maybe Karen Ann's barbed
What?
dildo.
What are you on? I want some. Now I'm staring at it because it's
It's
tiny.
that kind of day. It's
Oh,
that kind of,
geez.
well, welcome everyone. Welcome to our barbed dildos.
Oh my god. Now I gotta look. Oh my god, it's a dildo. Oh no.
It's only been a year and we just noticed that.
Now we totally gotta change the logo and make it a real dildo. Because I feel like that's only the right thing to do. Well,
yes, I think so.
It's hump day, so it'd be appropriate, right?
It is. It
is. There's a dildo
It's
in the
been
logo.
a hell of a day. I mean, if you're a crypto person,
it went nuts.
It was a roller coaster day today.
So
it was amazing.
It went way down, but then it came way back up, didn't it?
It did. So although a lot of it's still depressed, right? So it's still down. Yeah. And I think we're in for some volatile days. But like those are exciting days because when the dip happens, you buy.
And then you buy. That's the thing. It's like I kind of am thinking, like, should I buy now or should I have bought this morning? Because like I wasn't fast enough. I gotta
you gotta be ready. And depending on just add the tip. So depending on the type of program you have, you can do a if X then Y. So you can do preset buys and sells. And so you can set something up. So, for example, if Bitcoin drops to X number, then buy X amount. So you can preset those depending on the type of system that you want. And Travis says, yes, oh my God, it was a trader's paradise. It was amazing. It was amazing.
I need somebody just to help me get set up. And then I will do it.
Travis is your man. Travis,
we need to talk, man, because I am way behind on all of this. And, Kara is talking me into it. And I'm like, I want to get rich. I want to be on that nerdy money. Let's see.
Oh, James, I'm so poor all of a sudden. And yes, so it has been very volatile. And so everyone's questioning, okay, is this a small dip or are we entering the bear again, right? Are we going to have the bear market on crypto? And are we going to wait? Yeah, it was a cascade of stops. Are we going to be waiting 3 more years to have that real boom again?
It could.
I'm not sure. So, I mean, you always have like the shorter ups and downs. Like summer's usually a little down. Yeah. And then winter is more up. So like you have a seasonal up and down. But crypto has usually gone into booms and busts. But the busts never go down as far as they were before. So I mean it'll go up and up and up, and then it'll go down.
And then up.
And then up and up and up, and then down. But the trajectory, and that's why everyone says, hold, have your diamond hands, all that kind of stuff. Don't sell on a down. Don't buy on a high. I mean,
sell high.
Of course, I am not giving anyone advice.
No, we don't. We're not professionals. And I am definitely not. I'm like I just read about it and go, ooh, I should do that. But you know what? I'd be one of those dumbasses that would lose the password, and it would be like $1 million, and I'm like, I can't hit it.
I know.
That would be me. Oh, it's like crypto is like naughty garnish, buy pretty cucumbers low, sell them high.
Yes, exactly. And so we cashed out all of our Dogecoin, or as I say, doggy coin, because
I know you say doggy. It is a doggy.
I love doggy because he's a little cute doggy. So we cashed out of that. We did make some other buys. We're going to be watching for more buys. And I have to say, I got this t-shirt
The Doge father, like the dog father.
to
I love it.
celebrate. So right when we cashed out, I bought that shirt for myself.
I think you should, because and you should, like, when you get to go on a trip and celebrate, you should wear it and look at it and go, it's because of this. This is
Exactly.
why.
Yes, yes. Yeah, when we go to Egypt, I'll be wearing this shirt.
I expect that you will, and I hope that you get to soon, because that'll be so awesome.
Absolutely. Today was exciting for another reason.
What was that? What happened? Which thing? Because I'm like, there's a bunch of things.
Heather,
Oh yeah. You
I
you
bought groceries online and picked them
Oh,
up.
you did what I told you to do. Oh my
I
god.
did.
Okay, so
I
tell me
did.
all about it.
So Heather had said, one thing that she hopes doesn't disappear is being able to buy your groceries online and just pulling up and they put them in the back and off you go. And how wonderful and simple it was. And I was like, oh my God. I said, I hadn't done it for like over 6 months. And I was like, I tried to do it. It
It
was a
sucked.
total pain in the ass.
Last year it sucked.
Oh my God, everything was just so clunky trying to get everything into your little shopping cart
Yeah,
and just, I mean, it was just a chaotic mess. So I was like, all right, if
I'm
Heather's
okay.
saying it's good to go, I'm going to try it.
Okay, which one did you do?
I did Target
Target. Oh,
because I
you're
have
really
the app
good.
already loaded.
Oh Jesus, and it's so easy. It's so
It was
easy.
easy. Although the scary part, they had all my purchases I've ever made.
Yes, they
Like
do.
they're like, "Oh, do you want to buy this? Because you usually buy it."
Every time I go, I'm checking out. Like, I get the thing that pops up. Like, did you forget the milk? And I'm like, I fucking forgot the milk. And I'm like, yes, it's insane and terrifying.
I, for one, welcome our robot overlords.
Dude, and it gets and the more you do it, the easier it gets. You're just like same, 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 same. And then you go
Yes,
and pick it up and it's there. They put it in your car. It's
exactly.
now on Target, was that one? Is it like a little bit extra, or is it free there? I think it's
Free.
free. Yeah, because they're in Walmart, I think it's free. But Instant
Yep.
Cart is like $2,
Yeah.
but it's worth it. Oh my god.
Yeah. It was free. So no, it was easy. So I'm like, all right, you've converted me, Heather.
That's my just the tip this week, by the way, is that online grocery shopping has gotten to the point where it is like
It's
save
not a
the
shit show.
time. It's not a shit show, and busy women like Kara can like save a little bit, an hour or two. I think one of our friends, Genesis, said she saved 48 hours worth of time this last year by using
Yeah. Saved
curbside
48
pickup.
hours of her life.
Like, that's pretty awesome. Oh, your Aldi doesn't do curbside?
So
No.
one other thing that was fun this week is so I was on city council and I did it from home because I
Oh
wasn't feeling the best. And I forgot that this was in the
yeah. Oh yeah.
background.
I
And
remember
so they
that.
did a close-up of me during city council and there it was. And I got all these messages from people going, nice uterus.
Well, I mean, it's a human body part, and it's a cartoon image. So I think if they have a problem with it, they can suck it.
Exactly. Exactly. So we have a spectacular
We do.
jam-packed show.
Yes.
We have a surprise for everyone, but that's not going to happen till towards the end. And the surprise is we have information about the outcome of a contested XCOM election
Right.
that happened recently. And Heather's got the inside scoop because she was on the inside. She will do so judiciously
Yes.
and
'Cause I'm
neutrally.
yes.
But we can also hear a little more about the resolution of that process. So that's coming
At the
later.
end, after our awesome interview that's coming up.
Yes.
So
And tonight, also up earlier, we'll have an interview and hopefully have two people. So we asked two guests and they agreed to come on the show. And one is with the Mises Caucus and the other is with the Pragmatist Caucus, both out of Pennsylvania. And so they will be giving their view of what they saw, where communication broke down in Pennsylvania, what went really well, and what they're excited about for in the future for Pennsylvania. I know we have one of our guests online. We were waiting for the other one, and so we can wait just a little bit longer. Hopefully he is able to join us. But we also have some quick news, so we'll get to that first.
I'm going to just say, before we get to the news, I'm drinking a delicious beer today. I wanted to talk about it because it is so freaking good. Last week was Craft Beer Week, and I went to some breweries, but this one my husband went to without me because I was doing the show. So he got one from Sleepy Eye Brewery, which is a small town in southern Minnesota, and this is the Lemon Shandy, and it's one of the Dad Series beers. Dad's Dad. So it's Toby's Last Will and Testament Lemon Shandy, and it is really good. It's like lemony and refreshing. It reminds me of what is that? The limoncello like you made. It's very bright and
Ooh.
golden, so it's almost like drinking limoncello in a beer form.
So Sleepy Eye, that's like Laura Ingalls Wilder, right?
Yeah, it's kind of between Mankato, where I live, and New Ulm, I think, kind of like diagonal that way. And oh man, it's kind of far out for us, and it's a little bitty town, but they got their beer game and it's solid. I am happy.
Looks like it. God, I wish I could have that.
I know. I'm like, yeah, I think this would make you poop, but it's delicious. And while you're drinking it, you'd forget, and then later you go, oh no.
Oh no.
Oh yes, and there's another lemon shandy person. Yes, yummy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Everyone likes a lemon shandy.
So
let's get to news.
News.
Okay, so we had a special election yesterday in Pennsylvania. Tonight is like the Pennsylvania show.
Yes, it is.
So we had 4 libertarians running in special elections. So the first one is Andrew Herrera, and he was running for State House 60. He did come in third, but 531 votes. Keep in mind on these special elections, they are quick turnaround elections. People who vote in them tend to be party loyalists, and it's extremely difficult to get any information out there in a timely manner before the election takes place. They're snap elections. They're tough. We also had a libertarian running for state Senate 22, and that was Nathan Covington. Nathan got 643 votes. The thing that I find interesting and kind of amazing about this is for our candidates getting those votes, because just having people know that there's a libertarian on the ballot is a huge deal. Also, almost all of these candidates are from brand new formed county affiliates. So this is like brand new. They haven't had time to bring up their affiliate, but they wanted to give voters an ethical choice on their ballot. So we also have Tim McMaster, and he was for state Senate 48. He got 1,073 votes.
Wow, that's
and then
good.
Our other candidate was Rob Luther. Rob Luther pulled in 2.5% of the vote, 401 votes. So I wanted to say thanks to all of those candidates who offered a choice on the ballot for residents in their area. But it wasn't just special elections. They had some ballot initiatives.
Oh, did they? Tell me more.
And this is a big one. This is what we need in our state, Heather.
Oh, I want to know.
So Pennsylvania voters said yes to 2 constitutional amendments. Constitutional amendments that restrain their governor's power during emergencies.
You are so right. We totally freaking need that.
Absolutely. So they are the first in the nation. I know there's lots of other states that are proposing with this, but this is the first in the nation that has gone. And it was specifically to place restrictions on a governor's authority under an emergency disaster declaration. And the two questions ask voters to end a governor's emergency disaster declaration after 21 days, and to give lawmakers the sole authority to extend it or end it at any time with a simple majority vote.
It makes total sense.
An up-down vote.
Yeah. I mean, like, perfect. There is the peanut gallery was very excited.
Yes, yes.
Woohoo!
Take off that crown!
Take it off.
Exactly. So that is pretty freaking sweet. I'm
proud of them, and I want to, when we grow up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Holbrook is on. Yes.
Yes.
You are exactly right.
I just think he's so unbridled and uncontrolled. And that's not Holbrook. I'm just saying the governor.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. I think right now we have one guest. Is that correct?
Yes. And
okay. We're going to bring him on and introduce him.
Sounds good. Here we go.
So this is the new Eastern Vice Chair for Pennsylvania. Welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Yay.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
It's a real honor, honestly. Being on with the magnificent Kara Schultz, campaigning and candidates are my heart in this party. So I couldn't have asked for a better kind of first address to the nation than with you. Heather, you're lovely as well. We've just met tonight. So thank you both for having me.
You are lovely too, Adam.
So,
yep. And James says, Rev.
Yep. And James was in Minnesota or in Pennsylvania.
That's right. He was.
So yeah, it's, we saw a couple Minnesotans other than myself that had made the trip. So you were not only running for Eastern Vice Chair, and that's not just one of the hats you wear. The other hat that you wear is you are a regional coordinator for the Pragmatic Caucus, correct?
The Libertarian Pragmatist Caucus, that's correct.
Okay, and what region?
Well, right now it's Pennsylvania, but I'm looking to expand my role in the neighboring states. So I'm going to other state conventions. I've been up to New Hampshire. I went down to Maryland. I plan to be in Delaware. I've got good connections in New Jersey. So I've kind of already been doing the regional work. So the caucus is eyeing me to expand my coordinator role. I don't know how I'm going to have the time for it, but as they say, if you want something done, ask a busy person, and I'm here to do it.
And that's how it usually goes too, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm also on the board of Outright Libertarians. I actually shade comment. Yep. I'm the secretary of the board for Outright. I give a lot of my free time to this party, and it's para-party arms in various causes. Oh, and Kareem joined us. Awesome.
Yay! Okay, so here is our other guest too. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us, Kareem. We appreciate it.
No problem.
Hello.
Excellent.
Hey.
So how are you affiliated with the Mises Caucus? And you are also, what part of Pennsylvania are you from?
Okay, so I'm from Latrobe, Pennsylvania. It's a small town about 40 minutes from Pittsburgh. And how I got affiliated was after JoJo's campaign, I started looking around for something that was a little bit more strong on the messaging side. Because I saw a lot of libertarians doing one of two things. A lot of them were giving strong messaging to either the left,
right,
and that was in particular. I wasn't against JoJo's tweet or the staffer, that put out the tweet, but I said, hey, this was kind of hard because a lot of people are running to the Trump side saying, okay, well, I don't like that you did this. Also, Trump's not a libertarian at all. I would even put him closer to maybe a Democrat or a socialist. He does a lot of Bernie's policies, in my opinion.
Oh, he's a Democrat. I found the hilarious thing about the previous election was that Hillary was a really good Republican and Trump was an awesome Democrat, and it was just bizarre.
Did they draw straws? You kind of just wonder if they just like randomly picked.
Yeah, you could draw straws. So long and short of it is, I was actually kind of annoyed because so many libertarians were trying to compromise by going to the two-party system. I said that will never work because they don't have principles. They might do something you like. They might say, okay, I'll lower taxes here, I'll end the drug war. Maybe I'll do something with, you know, the Second Amendment. Generally not, though. Or maybe I'll take the troop levels down. Never remove them, just take the levels down, turn them up and down, kind of like a faucet. And I said, I need some extremely strong messaging so we get everybody. I was on YouTube one day. I saw Angela's video about it, and I got on there, filled out the information on the website, and then next thing you know, I'm talking to Michael Heiss at the convention, and I'm really, really excited to be part of this because now I can bring people in. I can show people that, hey, the Ron Paul movement is still going. It's not going anywhere, and that this is a principled movement to get you to that free society if you're willing to take the time and work at it. And that's my story.
Awesome. So Adam, similar question to you. How did you get involved with the Pragmatist Caucus, and then why?
Right. So I want to say first and foremost, I've got nothing but respect and love for my brother Kareem. I consider him a friend. I hope he considers me a friend. I know we have a good standing rapport. I've been on his show. For me, the Pragmatist Caucus is the caucus that was focusing on the things that I believe a political party exists to do. And that is get libertarians elected, run competitive campaigns, change public policy toward a more libertarian direction. And basing those initiatives on evidence-based best practices and measurable results, and developing ways of doing that right. So when it comes to the messaging thing, you know, the Libertarian Pragmatist Caucus is the only caucus that doesn't have a platform, at least of the major caucuses. We don't have a platform because we support the Libertarian Party's platform, whatever it is. We trust that all libertarians, whether they're pragmatists or radicals or Mises or libertarian socialists or audacious or Waffle House, we're all together going to make the platform that is the best platform for the party, and we support the platform. So we want to promote a culture of professionalism, a culture of inclusivity and diversity, you know, welcoming multiple voices, cosmopolitanism, and hard work, smart work, getting it done, and that's what I've really been doing here in Pennsylvania. When I sell the Pragmatist Caucus to people, I don't actually sell the Pragmatist Caucus. I find candidates and I call them up and I say, hey, can I share with you campaign resources that my caucus has? And I walk them through the resources. And I, you know, work with other affiliates and I give them the tools that they need to be a party that's effective, right? So for me, on messaging, it's not as so much as we have a disagreement, right? Myself, all of my pragmatist colleagues, we believe in end the Fed. We believe in bringing the troops home, all of them, ending the foreign wars of aggression. We believe in legalizing all victimless behavior, right? We believe in all of these things.
Yeah.
Where we take a different nuance in messaging is that candidates should be, first of all, our forward front messengers. And what they're going to message on are the things that they can build bridges with to voters. So we don't necessarily want to lead with something that's going to scare voters away, but we also don't want to lie about it right? I counsel all candidates that I talk to, if you get hit with a hard question, answer honestly, because they're going to respect your honesty, and if that's a make or break issue for them, they're going to walk away regardless. If you're bullshitting, they're going to smell the bullshit. Yeah. So we are principled, and we're effective, and that's why I organize with the caucus that I organize with. And we work with every other caucus too. We get a very friendly rapport with the radicals. We respect what they do in keeping us true to principle and true to message. And I'm working here in Pennsylvania to build bridges and have a good relationship with the Mises caucus as well. Kareem is probably one of my best examples of somebody in that caucus that I love to work with, and I love being around him. He's a great guy.
Okay. So looking at the Pennsylvania convention, it went from when I was first asked to be a speaker, and they're like, and I said, about how many people would be there? And they're like, probably about 100, probably be about the same as always. And then I started hearing, well, no, it's looking like 200, 250, 300. We've got 350 registered. Oh my God, I think we might have 400 people. So Kareem, what did you think when you started to hear that your convention was now becoming this draw? Like people were coming, they were excited because of the growth within your state. So you had a lot of people from within your state coming. And then you also had people from outside of the state coming as well. So what was going through your mind in the lead up to the convention, hearing that it was ballooning to this size?
I think what was going through my mind is I was telling a lot of people that they're asking, well, what's the whole libertarian thing about? Why don't you just do one of the two parties and then you can win? I said, hey, no, we're growing. And I even posted today telling people that, hey, a lot of people just want to do the easy thing. They're like, just go as even my libertarian friends are just like, well, just go as a Republican. Rand Paul's not that bad. Go as a Democrat. Tulsi Gabbard's not that bad. And I said, hey, I don't want to settle for the Republican Party. I want to take the road that nobody travels on, that other people are either saying it's impossible or saying it's too hard to go on. I was excited. I'm seeing that a lot of people are thinking like me that, hey, I don't want to be a part of this thing anymore. I want to go find where freedom is. I want to start working towards that. To me, that's what actually happened this weekend. That's how I started feeling. Now, on the other hand, I was a little worried that there would be some infighting, which there was, but I think that's something that I'm going to aim to, work with both sides to overcome. Even though I'm part of the Mises, it's good to talk to people like Adam and say that, hey, our common goals, even if there's disagreements on something like bylaws at the end of the day, should be end the Fed, especially now with inflation, because inflation is becoming ridiculous. I don't know if you've seen the price of commodities.
Yes.
Crazy.
Through the roof. The wars are getting even worse. I mean, we're giving money to not even just the wars, the troops, but we're giving money to other people.
What's this say?
We have a tornado happening here.
Oh my God. Well, if the power goes out, we'll know what happened.
Yeah, so if I drop off, I'm in Kansas.
Okay. Yeah, well, actually,
so
before we started, I was restarting. I'm like, oh man, geez, let's go, computer, work when I need you to. But even aside, we're giving, like, what's happening right now. If you take a look outside the United States, we're giving money to certain countries in the Middle East, and they're fighting proxy wars, Saudi Arabia and Israel. And this is all causing too much human suffering and just needs to stop. So that's why I'm aiming, let's get together, let's end these terrible things, let's fix a lot of the problems. And then at the end of the day, once we get more people on the page of liberty, more Americans on the side of liberty, then we can argue who can pay for schools, roads, and other stuff like that.
Exactly. So Adam, what were you thinking when you started to hear in the lead up to the convention that this was quickly, and I mean very quickly becoming a convention that rivaled the size of our last in-person national convention?
It's true.
Well, first of all, it's exhilarating, and I was on the convention oversight committee, and when I tell you this was Murphy's convention, everything that could go wrong did, and I can't tell you how proud I am of that committee for being so flexible and so quick on their feet to respond to the changing nature of that convention. I have been the chair of the membership committee in the LPPA. I have to hand that to someone else now that I'm Eastern Vice Chair. But as chair of the membership committee, I was in charge of credentialing, which I never want to do that again. It was, on the lead up, right? for everyone who pre-registered, who at least got their registration in by the Thursday prior to the convention, it was easy. We went into the system, we checked their dues, we saw how long they were a member, we checked the registration, and we credentialed them. I knew there was going to be a group of people that we didn't see coming, and so we tried our best. We had a whole fleet of people at the credentialing table to help kind of maintain that flow, but it really turned out to be a lot more than we were expecting.
It was a long line. I was in that line. It was a long, long line.
And there was a lot of confusion about which line to be in. People who had signed up the day before stood in line, got to me, and I'm like, "You signed up yesterday? Well, I'm sorry, it was that's the line you were supposed to be in." And I got people who were angry at me, for that, and people angry because I told them, like, you didn't change your registration in time prior to the close before the primary, and so we can't verify your registration, therefore you can't vote. And people were upset about that. And so it was a really, it was a harrowing experience to serve the party in that way and to get a lot of flack for it. But, I've got thick skin and it's cool. And at the end of the day, I produced a credentials report that had the highest numbers we've ever seen. And that's awesome. And I can't say how thankful I am for every single person who came. No matter what drew them there, just by coming, they were part of something really exciting.
And it was exciting because it was a large group of libertarians. Like, that was an amazing thing, and it was fun, and it was passionate, and I mean, at times it was a little tense, and there were times where people at the mics were screaming obscenities. I mean, they were very, very upset, which one of those times I might have been getting a drink at the bar in the parking lot, and the bartender said, she goes, "Is it always like this?" And I said, "Oh no, honey, this is unusual. Don't worry, And I said, this is fine. It's fine. Like, there's not going to be actual fighting. This is fine."
It's growing pain.
Yeah, it is a growing pain, and I know people are a little alarmed by it, but I saw it as really vital and exciting, because the last thing you want is apathy, and there was no apathy there. But it did seem like there was a breakdown in communication. So, Kareem, where do you think communication could have been better?
Okay. Well, one thing I'll say is you get humans together, especially in a political setting where we're deciding like ideas of how society would function, especially, and I'll even take it a step further, how society would function when a lot of it is theoretical, especially where I'm standing as a voluntarist. How would that look like? Because that effectively hasn't been done yet in the modern world.
Yeah.
There's going to be some kind of chaos. And I look back at the two parties. One side will fight you because you're not on a political, alliance with one guy who was the former president, and the other side will seem to fight you if you're not using language in accordance with how they would see that fit, or if you have a different opinion on which people in society can make it, economically so the other two parties are fighting. But the thing when I went up to the mic is I don't want to see us in conflict. And I think there was a breakdown in communication from two sides. I don't think any side was perfect. Just like when you're in a bar, someone insults your mom, you're trying not to violate the non-aggression principle. They keep saying stuff, you swing. Who was exactly right? Life's not as simple as good guys and bad guys in comic books. I think people would like to make it. That being said, I didn't agree with necessarily the bylaw that 180 days is a good frame of time. Maybe like I would say either 90, or you just have to say, hey, new members can vote on their chair because they're new, they're here, their vote still counts too. And I agree with that. But there's a process in place. Okay, I get that there's a process in place, but I don't agree with it. We could have dialed it down, and maybe we could have, instead of being fighting on the mic, swearing, go to Steve Sheets after or before. I would prefer before the convention, be like, hey, here are the bylaws that we're going to go over. Here's where my issue with them. Let's get it figured out on something like this or StreamYard so we don't have issues going into the convention. I likened it to this. Like you have two-factor authentication probably on your phone for some things. Let's say you lose your phone and you need it for your employer, which I do. That's why I freaked out. And I say, hey, I don't believe in two-factor authentication. If I go to my employer and I cuss them out or I insult them on social media, it's going to be a very bad day for me if I insult them. But if I go to them, say, hey, this process doesn't work. Here's why. I rationally bring it out to them before, after the convention. I'm able to fix it. I'm able to address it. That way, when you get to the convention, things are planned out better. So I think chairs like Adam Reinhardt, Jen Moore, Steve Sheets, and leadership from the Mises can get together on a Zoom call, hash out what's going on. Like I'm going to meet with Jennifer Moore hopefully on Saturday, and then kind of figure out, okay, here's the bylaws we're going to talk about. Here's the procedures. Not plan out everything, but at least have a general idea of what we're going and what we're doing and what we're going to say.
Yeah, absolutely. So Adam, he was bringing up some points, and now you are in a state leadership position. And some of the points that he was bringing up are points that actually many of our affiliates are struggling with right now, including our affiliate, Heather and I's affiliate, which are seasoning rules and who's allowed to vote and who's allowed to run, and do they need to be a resident of the state or not. You have an additional area, which is you need to be registered to vote as a libertarian, but your state's system, and I don't mean the LP's system, I mean Pennsylvania's system, sucks ass for updating, right? So
no, it doesn't.
And I
it's
know
not
that
so bad
leadership
enough,
has
maybe.
probably been talking about that. So what are you guys like? What is that conversation going like? And are you looking at meeting with the membership? Are you looking at about addressing some of these concerns?
Well, of course, we're always trying to look for ways to make the process smoother. Unfortunately, because the entire morning was embroiled in battle over two questions, we didn't get to bylaw changes. There were several bylaw proposal changes in the pipeline that we just couldn't get to.
And that was the weird thing I thought, was so much time was eaten up at the beginning, and I'm like, people, that's not your fight. Your fight is the bylaws.
No doubt.
You're
It's not credentialing,
correct.
it's the bylaws. Because you can retro.
There were some people who purposefully used parliamentary procedure, weaponized it to grind the convention to a halt.
We never see that at national.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was like Orlando 2020 all over again, deja vu. I want to talk about communication for a second, because after I gave my bylaws report and the convention descended into this embroiled battle over, credentialing the people who weren't registered properly. I was clearly very stressed. I was standing back behind Steve Sheets, chain smoking cigarettes, and who walked up to talk to me but this guy right here, Kareem. And he wanted to come over and just be like, just level with me, connect with me, commiserate with me. And, I appreciate that kind of honest communication, that kind of good faith communication, because I do believe there were some people standing up and balking about the whole process that were not there in good faith. There was one person who was complaining about not getting credentialed, who is literally a sitting Republican committee woman. Like, literally sits on a Republican committee. Like, we know who she is. We know who she is. And so when she got up there and she was doing her whole thing, it led a lot of people who are like party stalwarts, not necessarily just like people who have been here for years like Bill Sloan, but people who have been here for like a year or two, like some of our most enthusiastic new people who saw that and wondered, there's a lot of new faces here. There's a lot of people we don't know, people who've never shown up to a county meeting, people who have never volunteered for a campaign. How do we know what their intentions are? They seem really angry, and the talking, the leaders talking for them seem to be very hostile to the way the party is established right now. And they voted to not waive the 180-day rule for the first time in our party's history. It broke my heart. And I'm not saying, how I voted or whether I agree or disagree with that vote, but the fact that it played the way it played broke my heart, because for every one of those people I didn't know, there was another person I did know, somebody who has volunteered.
And your state had a tradition of waiving that rule.
Yeah, because for the longest time we've been small enough that anybody who's new and shows up, somebody in that room can vouch for them. And even if no one can, well, there are one or two people, it's not a problem. But a busload of them came, and I would love for them to get involved in the party and for them to earn that trust, with the party, but they hadn't, and they showed up angry. So what I want the other side, the other side, I mean, we're all on the same side here, presumably, except for that one Republican committee.
Yeah, she's not.
I want them to understand why it went the way it went, because key leaders who organized their arrival used the language of takeover and called the current board corrupt, and said lots of things that were flatly untrue. The LPPA is the most successful state party in the country.
If you have this kind of conflict, and you have this kind of conflict happen at your convention, but what do you do now? What do you do from this point forward?
Well, we talk to each other. We do exactly what Kareem did when he saw everything break down and he saw the stress on my body and on my face, and he came and talked to me. And I spent a lot of time the rest of the day talking to other Mises Caucus people and others who are not Mises Caucus, who are also denied the right to vote, and trying to heal those wounds and bring a level of understanding, like what just happened. Okay, this is what happened. We understand it. We don't necessarily like it, but moving forward is what matters, right?
Exactly. And Kareem, did I hear correctly that you reached out to the new chair, who's Jen Moore, and you're going to be chatting with her soon?
Yeah, so I didn't actually, what happened was I talked to Sam Robb, who's another chair, and we have a chat with me, awesome members like Rob Coburn and other folks in the Mises, and he said she was coming through and she was willing to address concerns. Also, I talked to Adam. I even talked to one of the candidates who's a great candidate, ran an awesome campaign, did really well, Tim McMaster, and just people I know from the Prag and the LPPA and the Radical, and say, hey, at the end of the day, there was some animosity, but here, we're all on the same team. And if at all possible, like I was saying, let's get together with something like this with just the leaders there, and then we can say whatever, hash it out. Like, I'm totally fine with, all of us being here. I'm not in a leadership position, but I'm even fine to sit and hash it out. Kind of like how Ron Paul did, because I'm always looking, Mises Caucus is based off of his messaging, kind of his legacy.
Right.
And he's still going, but the idea that you can bring a message to people who love liberty, and they can have different ways of seeing the world, because even the libertarian, we're all individuals, we don't see it the same, but bring that message so strongly that we all say, hey, we're here together to accomplish something. Reducing government power being the main thing, and then helping educate people in economics, I'd say, is the second. So we don't have things like this again. We don't really want future generations to go through modern monetary policy in these wars again. So if we can get everybody on the same page, get them working together, reach out to leadership and have a meeting or something beforehand, I think we got a good shot at fixing the future conventions and a stronger shot forward at beating duopoly candidates.
Absolutely. So, Kareem, do you see Mises? Because when I went to the event, and I went to the Mises event that was offsite, because I wanted to talk with people, I wanted to see what the speakers were like, all that kind of stuff. Do you see Mises as kind of that like building grassroots in the community or in the Libertarian Party? Is that what you are seeing or feeling or perceiving on that?
I am feeling a grassroots feel from Mises. And the nice thing is with Mises Caucus, I have a bunch of people who I'm working together with, which when I say something like I'm a voluntarist, I can show other people that I'm working with, like, hey, this is how voluntarism works. And even if people want to use the A word and they say, are you an anarchist? And I say, depends what you mean by the word. If you mean people who are creating chaos, no, I don't associate with them. I don't associate with Antifa or any of the other groups who are using violence and causing problems and creating chaos. But if you mean no central actors to put out, I would say, centralized rules or to try and control the game, then yeah, I guess I am. But then I can show them the Mises Caucus and say, here's a group of like-minded individuals. I'm not alone anymore, and I can bring other people in and say, hey, it's okay to see a world where central actors either are very, very drastically reduced or don't exist. And a good example of that is cryptocurrency, because we have tons of altcoins out now. We have Bitcoin. I remember an economist looked at me and said, this is too decentralized, Kareem. It's not real money. And now it's what?
It's real money.
Even with Elon Musk and even the Chinese government hitting it, yeah, okay, it's 30,000, 40. It'll come back.
I don't know if you saw my shirt earlier.
That is an awesome shirt. I love that. But we have tons of altcoins out now.
Yes.
And people say competing currencies would be the end of the world. Oh my God, people use competing currencies. How would you ever get stuff done? And I say Scotland and Switzerland back in the day had competing currencies, and their society did better than central institutions.
Yes.
What I'm finding is when stuff is closer to you, when it's not centralized, and it's easier to work within a community framework, it creates more wealth, it creates more peace, it creates more prosperity, and there's less corruption. It's not perfect, but it's close to what I would see as a functional and a civil society.
Yeah. So, Adam, in moving forward, what are you looking to do on the board? What is the exciting future that you see for Pennsylvania?
Oh boy, where to start? I mean, first and foremost,
I'm hearing words that there's going to be a ton
Moore.
of candidates going. So
cool.
Yeah. So myself and Jennifer are very excited about the Moulton maneuver, coined by Dr. Chuck Moulton, the head of our elections committee, where we hope to elect at least 100 to 200 libertarians at the municipal level. Last time around, we got almost 50 at the last municipal election. So what this is going to accomplish, I mean, a lot of them are uncontested races, a lot of them are write-ins, a lot of them are two-ways, all that local stuff, but this builds the farm team. For every one of those persons elected, there is a network of people who voted for them, who volunteered for their campaign, who maybe donated to them, and then there's the connections they make in government as they show their local municipalities that libertarian solutions work, that libertarians are better at governing people in ways that increase their freedom rather than decrease it. Then we have the networks to build off of and then launch campaigns for larger office. And this whole project has been Chuck Moulton and Jennifer Moore. And I'm thrilled to take this to the next level. Other than that, repairing the breach, the divides in the party is something me and Jen are really committed to doing, as well as Dr. Sloan and Sam Robb. All of us are doing things like this, reaching out to people, to talk about, okay, here's what happened and here's what comes next. Between me and Jen, we are going to call on the phone every libertarian in the state and get them more involved. That's one of the things we plan to do. And beyond that, I've got plans for putting on a candidate and campaign training. I plan on organizing micro conventions in the East, one for Northeast PA, one for Southeast PA, and bringing great people to teach them things. I've got somebody up in Monroe County, PA, who's a weapons instructor who's going to come and teach gun safety and firearm protocols, and so much cool stuff. But the most exciting thing is the candidates. I'm managing a campaign for Joel Getz for mayor of East Stroudsburg. I'm coaching other mayoral candidates all throughout the state. We've got two people running for county-wide council in Luzerne County. That's Paul Swalina and Michelle Marino Tiroli. And we got rock stars here in this party. The LPPA is where the action is. The whole attention of the entire nationwide LP should be here. Give our candidates your money. Volunteer for our campaigns because we're going to do something really awesome this year.
So, gentlemen, I want to thank you both for being on. Just a final statement, if people would like to learn more about your caucus, where do they go?
Absolutely. Kareem, go ahead first.
Okay, so for me, I definitely say you can connect with me personally at Kareem Maize on Facebook. That'll kind of give you like a way to talk to me, be like, hey, what is this all about? If you'd like to connect with me personally, if you want to look at the LP Mises Caucus, just type in LP Mises Caucus, and that's LPMISES, then Caucus, CAUCUS.com. It'll say take human action, go in, type in the stuff. If you want to connect with other prominent people, you can also connect with Michael Heiss as well. He's great, or Robert Coburn. And if you're interested, if you saw Ron Paul back in the day, or even recently, you like the message, and you're looking for a place that actually represents his values, this is the place to go.
Okay, and Adam?
Absolutely. If you want to learn more about the Libertarian Pragmatist Caucus, you can go to lpcaucus.org. I especially encourage you to go there if you are or plan to ever serve on a campaign or be a candidate, because we've got a practical guide section, which will give you all the nuts and bolts of things you need to know for campaigning. On Facebook as well, just type in LP Caucus, LP Libertarian Pragmatist Caucus, and you'll find our page. And you can follow me at Adam Reinhardt for LPPA Eastern Vice Chair on Facebook, and reach out, talk to me. I'm very available, and I will take the time to talk with you, because conversations are the things that are going to heal this party, and our party really, as Kareem said, the inheritors of the Ron Paul legacy, the inheritors of the Gary Johnson legacy, the inheritors of the Joe Jorgensen legacy. The Libertarian Party is where it is at. So before you give a single dime to the LP, to the Pragmatist Caucus, give it to your party, give it to your candidates, and then if you've got any money left over, the Pragmatist Caucus will take it.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, very much. I really appreciate this. This was a truly fantastic conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for having us on.
Absolutely. So our next guest is Heather.
Me?
Is you?
Surprise. It's shocking.
Because we said that there was some surprise information that was coming out, and now we can give it. So Minnesota, at our convention, we had our XCOM election, and there were some votes. Again, Minnesota's struggling with the same thing everyone else is struggling with: seasoning requirements, bylaws, convention rules, all of that kind of stuff. And it looked like we had waived the seasoning requirement, which is 45 days in Minnesota, for a chair race, not for the people who vote, but for the candidates. The vote then kind of came up for, yeah, I know, kind of, for other elections. It was a little chaotic. I mean, you know how these things can get. When everything was said and done, we had a challenge to our election result the next day.
Right.
And the challenge went to our judicial committee, which Heather just got elected to and had been hearing the whole time at the convention how our judicial committee has never met a single time
that
ever.
sounds like a committee for me. I love committees that hardly ever meet. That sounds awesome. Okay. And Kara's like, you should do it. And so she nominated me.
I nominated her.
And I went up and I gave a spiel. And honestly, I believe then, I believe now that you take these things seriously. And if any issues would come up, I would research them and look into them with great interest. And guess what?
It came up
right away.
It came up. So, yep.
Peterman with 2 ends.
Yes, 2 ends.
I'm so honorable.
So the issue did come up, and the issues were, what were the issues that were laid before the judicial committee to decide upon?
Well, the state of Minnesota in the bylaws, it is mentioned and required that you need to be a member for 45 days in good standing. Now, some of the candidates that went up for election were under 45 days. Now, in the beginning, the very first, it was for the chair race. It had been waived, but then, so there was confusion. First of all, can you waive a bylaw? Second of all, they did it, but the person who went up for election and that didn't get it, so it didn't matter. But then we have the what do you call it? The at-large election, which was a huge election. There were many people, 10 people interested in 8 positions, and it came to be that
and we did approval voting.
That was approval voting, which is very important in this issue because and how it all plays out. So there was a not a complaint, a contested. The election was contested and sent to me as a judicial committee member, and I got the ball rolling, and we met. We asked the executive committee, this came up, so we're going to work on it. But they said that they weren't going to meet until we decided.
Which was a good choice.
It is a good choice. And it's out of their hands because we're an outside committee. And it's a 5-person committee. And 2 of us were new. 1 was a renewing member of the 2 new. And so it's a very established group except for me. I'm the dumb new one. But I took it so seriously, let me tell you. So we met, like, how much time do I have? We talked about it. We were online. We emailed back and forth. We looked at the bylaws. We watched the whole entire election video.
Oh, God.
We went with the secretary and looked at the notes on it. So we had all of the information. And we also had the executive committee looked at when did people actually when did they pay? And so they had the exact dates when they paid for their membership. And 2 of the people were ineligible. Long story short. It was a really interesting process. It's kind of, there's reasons that we have these rules. The bylaws can't be superseded. We can't waive that. And I mean, it's very confusing, and we had the badges with gold stars on it, so you think, oh, we can all vote and we can all be elected, and people didn't know what it all meant. So it's understandable. It was an understandable mistake,
and we found out that we have things set up incorrectly. We have our convention rules within our bylaws, which is a big no-no.
Yes, and we're hoping that the executive committee takes a look at that and may make amends or amend their laws to be a little more clear.
Yeah, right.
At this point, it's kind of confusing. And then, like, having if your membership lapses and you come back, how much of a lapse is okay? Like a year, 20 years? I mean, sometimes
Yeah.
the people get nervous because it could be somebody who's coming from another party to disrupt. There's a lot of reasons to be nervous. But ultimately, the news was shared today to those candidates that were ineligible. There weren't any hard feelings. They can run next time. They will totally be eligible next year or the year after that.
Absolutely. And they can volunteer. I mean, we
Yes.
definitely want them to
We
be
want
involved.
them. We don't want animosity. We just want to
And
follow
it
the
doesn't
rules.
appear that there was bad faith
No,
at all.
no. And there's the things that happened. It was we discussed it, and it was very understandable why it happened. But we thoroughly went over it, and so then the next phase is it goes to the executive committee. Since what did we call it, Kara? What kind of election was it? The approval. So likely it'll be the since we had 10 candidates, it will likely be that those two that didn't quite make it would take those roles. So it'll work out pretty smooth, but that's for them to decide.
And so when this happened and it got announced, I know many people online were like, "Oh, drama," and I'm like, "Yeah, you don't get Minnesota.
Minnesota's not like we're not like
really
do
that."
No, we're like, can we get this meeting done so we can start drinking? Because there's a Scotch fountain, I hear. There was a Scotch fountain.
Yeah. So, everyone's been very understanding. It sounds like the process has been very orderly. It doesn't sound like people are like real angry or upset or anything like that or anything like. Yeah, James is right. He had to fly to PA for drama because we don't do that. So
we don't do
for us Minnesotans, if we want a little drama, we gotta go somewhere else.
Oh,
I know it. Oh, and that's the other thing. James has it exactly right. So when you go to a Minnesota convention, it is free drinks all day,
everywhere,
all night.
Everyone was drinking.
Way more alcohol than you could ever have.
What?
And then
what kind of libertarians don't have free drinks?
I know.
I don't know if I can deal with that, Kara.
I know. The first time I went to another state's convention, I was like, what do you mean there's no hospitality suite with free drinks and food?
Because we're so Minnesota, we expect it. We're like, of course, like, hey, how many cases of beer should we bring? Like, do you want me to bring wine or what? And they're like, and other states would be like, why would you do that? Like, to share, because we want to have fun. And then you can try some of our beer from where we're from, and you can try your beer, and it'll be great. No.
Exactly. Yeah, see, we're going to get some people coming to our convention. Yes, you do have to come to our convention.
You do. It's super fun.
But yeah, so it looks like everything was orderly. I know this was the first time our judicial committee met, but it sounds like it went very orderly. You guys were extremely thorough, professional, neutral, just
I took it super seriously, as Kara knows, because she's like, can we talk about it? I'm like, I don't know. People keep asking,
she's like, I have to check if we can talk about it today.
Oh my God, there's so many bylaws I have to go through to see if I can share it. And so then I finally got the okay, and I was like, okay, now we can do it.
Yeah, but it did show the areas where our bylaws and our convention rules have weaknesses, and affiliate after affiliate is finding that out this year. We're all experiencing that this year. Right. I'm hopeful that the silver lining on this is that we come out with better organizations and that we have better, more clear rules that we all agree to
and everything too. Yeah.
And that we get better at communicating them.
I love that. I learned that just by being in this committee for a week. And I go, wow, all the things that you don't know that go on behind the scenes. It really makes you appreciate all the hard work everybody puts into it.
Exactly. And I know we're over. Sorry, folks, but we tried to pack so much in tonight, and it was really good. But if you type in what your one awesome thing is, we're going to be closing on out. So type in what your one awesome thing for the past week was. It was a pretty eventful week. So,
man, right? Oh yeah. It's like we better have free drinks at the convention a priority. We don't even need to have a treasurer.
We all just
Everybody
donate it.
it.
Everyone donates. We all just
It's
bring it and donate it. Yeah.
we just do it, dude. That's how you do it. You just like it's voluntarism. You just make
Yes.
it happen. If you want to have the best convention ever,
Oh,
imagine what
Holbrook
it
has
is.
an awesome thing.
Ooh. Oh yes, this is the best one ever. Minnesota lifted the mask mandate. We're free.
I know, so happy. So
Although
happy.
I live in southern Minnesota in like in a college town. So everywhere
Oh
I
yeah.
go, people are still wearing masks. So I don't wear them outside. I never hardly did. But when I go in, I look around. And if everybody's wearing a mask, then I get mine on.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm just
Done.
like, but
Done.
but if there's only one person, then I'm like, yeah.
Nope,
I just
done.
feel so done with it. But I'm doing that Minnesota nice thing. But I'm like, I'm hoping it phases itself out.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. James says he's not as broke now as he was at the beginning of the stream. So crypto is creeping up again.
I just like this buying scotch.
And
here's
then
one
Laura,
more.
yes, Laura had a very, very challenging time, and her state affiliate is stepping up.
Oh, that's
So
great.
that is good to know that you are being supported in that way. I saw that, Laura. My awesome thing was probably all the incredible people I got to see. I tried to talk to as many people as possible at the Pennsylvania convention. But I didn't get to everyone I wanted to talk to, but I had a really, really good time. David Valiente and I probably drank way too much during the convention, but it was good. It was good.
You want to know one of my awesome things is seeing Kara's awesome pants.
That was so hilarious. James actually brought that to me. James goes, Kara, you got to see this. And he showed me that tweet, and I was like, send that to me. And so a couple of people were like, because someone had just made an off comment, and this was a very tepid comment. Okay,
Yeah,
it was a very tepid comment, but like I'm totally taking it. And they just said that I had a nice butt. The girl in the gold pants has a nice butt, and I'm like, I want that. I sent it to my husband. I sent it to my mom and my sister and my nieces. I posted it online. Like I will take.
You did send it to everyone you know.
I did. I don't fucking care. Like I don't care.
I laughed because I'm like, okay, my instinct was like, is Kara being sexually harassed? Do I need to do something about it? And you're like, look at, they like my butt. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's fine.
And I'm like, I'm completely shameless. I am not kidding when I said if someone was like, oh, Kara, you kind of have a nice pinky, I would have been like, look at my pinky. You know? So, it's so good. Good. Absolutely, utterly shameless.
See, that made my day. I just thought it was hilarious, and I was just like, "Oh my god, it's such a Kara moment." I love that. So yes, no masks, awesome booty, nice weather. Except right now, it's going to be raining all week, but it's been
a tornado.
I put plants in. I mean, it's nice enough now that plants are in the yard. I mean, I love summer, so this is awesome. Yes. Oh, and yes, you have nice hands, Kara.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Pretty. Yes, I love Kara. I love me some Kara with her weird uterus behind her. I got you that.
You did. You got that for me when I was getting my hysterectomy.
Yay! I was like, I remember that. Oh, yes. And, you know, it's kind of like a weird week, but it's kind of awesome. And I love getting to do the show, getting to spend time with everyone. And now we're way over. Oh, my God.
We are. But this was an awesome night. This was a really good one.
Yes, it was. Thank you all for, oh my God, I'm looking at everybody. Thank you all for joining us. I am just overwhelmed with all the love that I have for everyone here and for you, honey. And we get to go on adventures this summer, and it is so good. So okay. So now that there's tornadoes in Burnsville, Have a good night, everyone. Kara, go to safety. I love you very much. Be safe. And have a great week. We'll see you next week, maybe. And if Kara's in Kansas, we'll go do the show there. Oh, and if you like us, oh my God, I'm running. Thank you to our Patreon, supporting our Patreon. Yay, you guys are the best. You can always come and support us on our Patreon, Sweet Subversives. So, and we're getting really close. The money is almost there for Kara to get her awesome new microphone. So that'll be the next phase. So see you guys next week. Have a wonderful week. Take care. Wax off.